But yeah, we can show the logo. I always forget to show the logo.
Word up.
Yeah. Because it says, because I actually put on the logo that it live podcast every Sunday night at 9:05 p.m. So, you know, if people tune in, they know what time we normally go live and stuff. Even though this is a little bit different because we are live in the middle of the day. We're a daytime podcast.
Yes.
We're like Oprah or The View.
I have no idea what that was that just fell. Something just fell back there off of the dryer, I'm guessing. I have no idea what that was. And I'm not white, so I'm not going to go check it. Because it could be a monster.
If you check it, are you going to take a flashlight and ask, who's there? And then...
No, I ain't about to check this at all. I mean, I'll go past there when I go past there.
You have a flashlight in the daytime. Who's there?
I'm definitely not about to go down. There's this video.
Amber's here. She said, word up to my ninjas.
Word up. I watched this video, and it's this girl, and she says she's at home by herself, and she is, and it sounds like somebody's upstairs.
Uh-huh.
So she goes to try to get to figure out if someone's in her house, and she says something to the effect of, if you're here and want to kill me, clap your hands. And someone upstairs goes, and then she fucking flies out of the house. And it's the funniest fucking video ever. Like, for real, every time I watch that thing maybe about 8 times in a row, and it was fucking hilarious every single time. Like, every single time, because I mean, like, who would think to do that? Like, who would think to be like, if you want to kill me now, clap your hands. And then when someone claps, it's like, and she didn't do the typical white people thing. Like, she got the fuck out of there. Like, she hauling ass, and she's in flip flops. Like, she's holding her phone for this. So, like, you just see her just running down the block, like, absolutely just hauling ass. I saw it on Facebook, and I gotta figure out how to find it. I gotta figure out how to find it, but I'll you know, if I find it, I'll share it on the social medias. You know what? We kind of, like, we all just kind of stopped using the Facebook page. Like, we got like no responses from Facebook most of the time, so we all just kind of stopped using Facebook.
Yeah. Well, wasn't Scott like kind of the main like person that was supposed to take care of that? But
no, it was me, and I just kind of stopped because I wasn't really getting any responses. So I just
maybe it was that Scott was the one that was only responding.
Yes, that's what it was.
Okay.
Shout out to Scott, because Scott did hit me up, and like, I think I said it last episode, but he said he wants to be on soon, so we're gonna get that thing popping. But here's the thing about pizza rolls. Like, we were talking about pizza rolls prior to the show. The thing about pizza rolls is when you make them at home, you can never actually get them quite right. Like, because like if you put them in the microwave, they're all right, but they're kind of chewy.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you try to fry them, then they start leaking, and they make kind of like that pizza roll leaky thing going. But it gives you a little bit of crunch on the outside, and like, that's cool. You put them in the oven, and it kind of is the best of both worlds, but still isn't that great. Like, how do you make pizza rolls to whereas they stay in the damn outside, but they're kind of crunchy? Like, I never figured out how to get pizza rolls right. Does anybody know?
Well, how are they supposed to be? Like,
I don't know.
I just thought they were always that kind of like. I always said this about pizza roll. They're the nastiest, most delicious thing ever.
Yes, that is correct. Also, like, they're not really that great, but they're not really that bad either. I bought these things. I went shopping yesterday because my girl is out of town for a week, so I went shopping on my own. And you know, when you go shopping on your own, and you know that you're just buying for you, you tend to buy like stupid stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I bought these things, right? and they kind of look like the when you get the taters and they put the stuff on the taters. What do you call those? The appetizers where it's like part of it, like tater skins.
Yeah.
It look like tater skins, but here's the thing: there's no tater. It's actually like a small piece of like a chicken patty, and it has the sauce, cheese, and pepperoni on them. Now, I had no business buying this while I was at the store, but I couldn't help myself. I absolutely couldn't help myself. Amber says Facebook was originally for college kids, wasn't it? Absolutely, that is the truth. When Facebook first started, I couldn't be on Facebook because I did not have an edu email, and that's also why I couldn't get Amazon Prime for free. Because I don't know if it still is, but it used to be free for students. If you had an edu email address, then you could get Amazon Prime for free. What happened?
We're just having some problems.
Problems?
Yeah, it's giving me encoder errors.
Okay.
And I don't know why, because this is normally like. But it says my keyframe interval is 8. That's set it to 2, and I've got it set to 2. Being this way.
See, now you see why I don't stream. Like streaming always seems like a good idea, and I could probably streaming Prison Architect would probably be a lot better on me. But first of all, my internet is crap. And second of all, I just know that sometimes y'all be having some issues, and I'm not technically savvy like that anymore to try to figure all of this stuff out.
Well, Amber's in the chat. She could let us know if it's like buffering and being.
And Amber says she doesn't know any other way of making pizza rolls than the microwave. Yeah, but like if you do it in the microwave, they're chewy. I used to put them in the oven. Like that used to be my go-to way of making pizza rolls. But they still start moving. They start leaking. Kind of like when you make hot pockets and you put them in for just a little bit too long, and then you end up with the hot pocket juice everywhere.
Right. Yeah, it's different microwaves too, because you have to look on the box and be like, most of them are 1100 watt microwaves is what the instructions are for. So if you have like a 900, which is less, or like a 1200, which is more, might as well just get that one for the 1100 and be done with it. Because there's one at the Event Horizons, and it's like 1500 or something.
Yeah, the one at work is real strong. Like when I put stuff in the microwave, I typically have to put it in. Like say if I'm making like some lunch or something like that, I gotta put it in for a little bit, stir it up, and then put it back in the microwave for a little bit more. Not at work. I put it in for that first set, and it is very hot. Like I don't know what level is at, but it's at a very high level because everything is just done. And sometimes a little bit overly done. Okay, are you still having issues?
I don't think so. I mean, she just gave me a smiley face. Maybe that means it's fine.
Well, she said a smiley face in the chat too.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you ready to start? Scar, would you watch Mandy? What is Mandy?
It's a horror movie.
Absolutely not. I don't care about horror movies. I just don't.
It's kind of a psychedelic horror movie that has Nicolas Cage in it.
Yep, you just said two things that I absolutely do not care about. I do not care about horror movies, and I absolutely am not a fan of Nicolas Cage and his extreme overacting of everything. And his just weird his weirdness. Like he's really weird. Like there's some Nicolas Cage stuff that I do like, but it's like old stuff, like Con Air and shit like that. Like Con Air, Face Off, but Face Off was very overacting. Let's be honest. Like it was super overacting. So like, yeah, I just don't. I'm not a huge fan. Ooh. So and I'm not a huge fan of horror movies. So like I'm just kind of out on that whole idea. I just like the whole thing about horror movies is I used to be terrified of horror movies as a child. But as an adult, I know that it's not real. So like what's the point of me watching this? Because I'm not going to be scared by it, because even if it shakes me up a little bit, I'm just like, I know this isn't real. So like why would I care to watch horror movies? It doesn't.
It's not really a scary horror movie as much as it is like, I don't know. It's like his wife gets kidnapped by this cult, and then he like goes crazy to try to like go get the cult.
That's strike number 3. You said cult. I'm out.
And then he like makes this big ass battle axe.
So even if you get to see lots of boobies, yeah, boobies are cool, but like I there's certain websites I can go to and I can see boobies and everything else. So like, why would I care about just seeing boobies in a horror movie that I don't want to watch? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for me to go to a horror movie just to see boobies. Like,
but the guy.
There's a lot better places to see boobies. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the guy that he gets to help him make the axe or gives him the materials and the blueprints to make the axe is the guy from Predator. Not Carl Weathers, but the other guy with the bald head. I can't remember his name.
Bill Duke?
Yeah. So
I like Bill Duke. He's he plays in Black Lightning now.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. He has a reoccurring role. It's kind of a small role at this point, but he plays in Black Lightning, but he's lost a lot of weight, so he's like really thin. He kind of looks like what's his name? Oh boy, the mailman. I mean, not the mailman, the weatherman. What's his name? The weatherman dude that lost all that weight.
What?
You know what I'm talking about on like the Today Show, Good Morning America, one of those, the weather dude. You know the weather dude. You know the weather dude. Like shit, I can't think of his name. Hold on. Al Roker. There we go. Al Roker.
Al Roker?
Yeah, it kind of looks like Al Roker now, because you know they both were pretty big dudes and they lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
So they both had that same kind of look. You know, they both like, do you know all black people look alike to some people. And, you know, they're just, you know, they're skinny, bald black men.
Cool.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand, like, because I work around a whole bunch of white people, that there's a lot of white people that think that all black people look alike. You know, because
it's really funny when it's like two people that look nothing alike.
Yeah, I have a coworker who thinks like everybody looks like somebody. Like
it's like people being like, "You and Blue, you could be brothers." You're like, they don't look anything alike.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. But it's a shout out to Blue, man. Facetious ended last week. I hope it's not for good. Like there's no like, it's not definite. It's ending. It's just ending for now, because his life is too busy, at the moment. So I hope it's not ending forever, because I had a lot of fun on that show.
Amber's been asking you a lot of questions, man.
Oh, I clicked away to go talk about Al Roker. Did you like the movie Predator? Like, I haven't seen it since like around the time it came out on video. So like, I guess I like the Predator. Like, I mean, I liked it at the time I saw it, but it's not something that I really was like super hyped about watching again. But I will say, when I was a kid, I watched Commando way more than anyone should. Like the movie Commando with Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Amber loves that movie as well. It's like her favorite Schwarzenegger movie.
And yes, I have heard of Sabrina. I don't care. Like I like at some point I might get to it, but I always have. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I still have yet to watch. And so, like, even if I do make it to Sabrina, there's always something that comes out before it. So, like, even when I get close enough to start it, it's just like, well, this new show just started, and that seems way more interesting than that.
It's good. I like it.
Yeah, I just don't. It's just not something that. I mean, I never watched the clean version of Sabrina. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I never watched that. So I was.
Well, it's like not even the same thing as that at all.
I thought they were kind of based in this. I thought it was like semi-based with like the character is basically the same character, but in a completely different version of it.
Well, I mean, it's that, but like the one in like with Clarissa Explains It All is like not even. It don't even seem like it was even with the source material at all. You know, it was just kind of like iCarly, but with a witch.
Okay. Yes, I never cared about that. So like I've heard people who have watched this either say they couldn't get through it because of the subject matter, or they really liked it. It's just one of those things to where I don't think I'm ever going to get around to it. I don't think I'm ever going to care. And it's not like I'm not blue, so I'm not really hating on it. It's just I don't think I'm ever going to get around to it. I don't think I'm ever going to care.
There's a scene that made me giggle because one of the aunts was like reading like a saucy novel, and she was like over here giggling. She's like, "It's really good." And then the other aunt was like, "Well, the only book you need to be reading is our Dark Lord's Bible."
There's a scene because I finished the second season of Future Man, and I'm telling you, there's a scene in Future Man. It is a Hulu original show. There is a scene in Future Man that is the funniest thing, and it's a takeoff of Back to the Future, and it is the funniest thing I have ever seen. Like, I damn near pissed myself laughing. Like, is that funny? Like, super funny. But if you got Hulu and you are nostalgic, because there's a lot of callbacks to like Terminator and Back to the Future and all of that kind of stuff, that you try Future Man. It is hilarious.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, man, because that was like kind of the thing with Sabrina a little bit, to where it had these callbacks, but it was because it has, I wouldn't say Buffy. I guess sort of, yeah. Like, there's an overarching thing that's going on, but then an episode might be, since they're like an hour-long episodes, each episode is kind of like a weekly. It's like Monster of the Week a little bit, but there'll be one episode where it's very much inspired by The Exorcist, and another episode where it's very much inspired by Pet Sematary, and then it like that. So there's like these little things that they have to go through, but it kind of does that thing to where it gets lighthearted, but then it gets dark, kind of like Buffy a little bit.
Okay.
But it's definitely more closer to like Buffy or X-Files people than it is like Saturday morning Sabrina people.
Right. All right. So here's the thing. This is the show.
Yeah.
Welcome to Scarcasm.
Yeah, we kind of rolled in there, didn't we?
Yeah, because I wanted to get, I wanted to, get in there and talk about some stuff, and we were talking before the show started, so I wanted to make sure that I said it on the actual show. So welcome to Scarcasm. Chase is in the building. I'm in the building. We're here.
Amber asked, be honest, with the government shutdown, do you think we'll get our tax refunds?
I think you'll get them. I don't think you're going to get them in an expedient time frame, because even with the reprieve of the government, the current reprieve is only set to the 15th. So like until they can work out another plan, they got to the 15th to really like.
Yeah, the IRS is working, but they're not working with pay.
Yeah, so like the idea, and the homie Bomani Jones brought this up. Like the best thing for y'all, because I mean it's not like I get a lot for taxes anyway. But the best thing for y'all is the fact that they're working without pay. Because they're just going to approve everything. Like, imagine going to work and you have to approve this stuff and you're not getting paid. So you're just going to rubber stamp everything. Like what is it to you? You're there, you're forced to go to work and you're not getting paid. So like, that's the best thing for y'all. Cause they just go through that stuff. And it's not like they're going to really take some time to investigate some shit. Like it may be some shit after the fact. Like the after the fact is what y'all really got to worry about. Just make sure that you do your things right. So like hopefully when they actually go back to work fully and they go back through it, it's not going to be that bad. But like as of right now, man, they're going to be rubber stamping everything. I can't imagine being at work at a place like that and I'm not getting paid. It's just going to be boop, approved, boop, approved, boop, approved, like every single step of the way. So I mean, I hope that whatever happens, that everything works out well for everyone trying to get their tax returns. I can't really lean on tax returns, so I never really think about it. It doesn't affect me as much as it affects everyone else. But yeah, I hope it all works out. I mean, just like anything with the shutdown, I hope it all works out. It seems to have been for nothing, and your boy got played. Like even if you support the president, like he got played. Longest government shutdown and accomplished absolutely nothing. And he got played to get these people to go back to work. But like part of the reason of getting everybody back to work is like y'all need to get them TSA agents paid. Like for real. Like they shut down LaGuardia yesterday. Was that yesterday or day before yesterday? Day before yesterday. They shut down LaGuardia because bruh, like the TSA agents is just like, nah. And like, I don't blame them. Like their job is like super important. And then you try to make them go to work and they're just like, well, why am I at work if I'm not getting paid? Like what? And like, at the end of the day, like the only thing you can do is like threaten to let them go because you can't threaten them with anything else. Like you can't threaten them to be like, well, you're not going to get paid. Well, I'm already not getting paid.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because the Emberses, can't imagine because they got bills to pay. I mean, yeah, everybody does, and that kind of like disrupt the whole American way of thinking because because if right now, not right now, but maybe a couple of years ago, we were like, hey, here's your shoe in with this federal job. You got federal, insurance. Steady income. You're going to be making 3 times what you're making now, and then all of a sudden something like this happens. So a good decision like that, you're like, I should have just stayed.
Right. And like, because there were stories about people who like, because of the government shutdown, like their insurance wasn't kicking in either. So there's like people with diabetes and stuff like that had to decide whether, like to get their insulin because they can't afford insulin without the insurance because of course the price of insulin has skyrocketed. So like they can't get insulin. And then like there was this one lady, I can't remember where it is, but my coworker told me about it, where she has cancer. And she had to decide whether to buy her medicine or to eat. You know what I mean? With the money that she had left, like do I want to eat or do I need to buy this medicine so I can survive? Like that's some real shit. And then like I said, the worst part about this is it was all for nothing, all for a wall we don't really need. Like all for a wall that's not even going to be that useful. Like really, like what is a wall really going to do? You're going to put billions of dollars into a wall. Well, they just figure out how to get around the wall. Like they figured out everything else. Like, you know what I'm saying? They figured out everything else.
That should be a thing of pride that we have a country that everybody wants to live at.
Yeah. And like, let's be honest, like, other than the Native Americans, like, we all got here through immigration. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, none of us were here other than the Native Americans. And like, you know, how many full-blooded Native Americans are there right now? But like, other than the Native
now this particular Native American is a bad guy to them.
Yeah, like, for real, like, other than the Native Americans, we all got this, you know, we all got here through immigration of some way, shape, or form. And then you're talking about illegal immigrants and all of this kind of stuff. Like, bruh, are you really that concerned about illegal immigrants? Especially, like, we were concerned about immigrants before with the whole "did you got jobs" thing. But like, the immigrants are doing the jobs that we don't want to do. Do you want to go, like, for real? Like, do you want to go work a field? Like, do you really want to go work the field in order for you to be able to get the produce and stuff that you go to Walmart for? Is that something that you really want to do? And you know, are you climbing up on that roof?
It's not like the Hispanic people are like taking computer programming jobs and stuff.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not what they're doing. And then, you know, people keep following these stupid misnomers about them.
And the reason that they're there is because they're the only ones that will work for the shitty pay.
No, the reason why they're there is because their situation is better here than it is there. And most of their situations are fucked up because of us. You know what I mean? Most of their situations are fucked up because of us. That, you know, because we couldn't control like the drug war and all of that kind of stuff. And then like, you know, they get this stuff here, and like what the money that they make here bolsters their standing there. Like, if we just talk about the drug war right now, like, a lot of these drugs aren't being made here. They're being made in other places and brought in here, but they're not just being. No one is walking these drugs across the border. Like, these things are coming into ports because they have places where they can get this stuff in. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like they were talking about like the illegals coming from the borders and stuff like that. And it's just like, yeah, like in the past, in the last little bit, like the ones that actually got caught and did you know, if we figured out where they were coming from, was like not even 20. You know what I mean? Not even 20 people came from that southern border, and what that we know of.
Amber said, "Has this world lost its damn mind?"
Yes, it absolutely did. And we knew that they had lost their mind when they elected the president. Like, we knew that there. Someone shared something on Facebook, and it said, "Do not blame Trump for what's happening. He proved prior to being."
Follow Xpider.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta follow on Mixer. Xpider.
Okay. I'd say I saw a thing on Facebook and it said, "Don't blame Trump. He did everything he could to prove that he was unfit for this job before y'all decided to give him the job." You know what I'm saying? Like, he did everything that he could to prove that he was unfit for this job. I don't think he actually wanted it. He just wanted to raise his celebrity profile, and then like people actually cared. It was just like, oh shit, you mean I got to do this now? And that's pretty much how he's been. This whole his whole term has been, oh, I got to do this. How we do this? I think, here's what it is. I think we're going to do it this way. No, you can't really do it that way. But I'm going to try it anyway. Like, that's been pretty much his, like, the whole thing with this presidency has been, you know, when you lie on your resume and then you get the job and like you tell them that you know how to code.
Yeah.
And then like you actually get the job and you're just like, oh, so I got to code now?
Yeah,
I gotta go. Hold on, wait. I gotta do this. I gotta go, and that's basically what this whole presidency has been. Oh shit, I got a code now. You know what I mean? So like, has the world lost its mind? Yes, the world has lost its mind, and here's the problem. I don't think there's a lot of solutions that are easily accessible. I think the base thing, like I've always said, when it comes to any of this stuff, we have to realize that we are all in this together, and we have and like people have to care about people. But like the way it's working right now, people care about their own people because you still got racist, you still got prejudice, you still got like the people in government taking care of their own. Like everyone cares about their people, but like we need more people that care about all people. And like I said, I've always said the way to fix all of this is the golden rule. Is the golden rule. Treat people how you want to be treated, and that's all people. Like like if you don't like like the LGBT community, but like if you still treat them with the same kind of respect as you want them to have for you, then everything works. Like these people just trying to survive. These people are just trying to be people. They're not trying to fuck with you. Like they don't care about fucking with you. They just want to survive. I mean, like, and with the amount of like transgender murders and stuff like that I hear about all the time, because I have people on my friends list and stuff like that really care about these things and really try to shine a light on these things. Like at this point, these people are just trying to survive. And it's rough that like we can look at something like I've been watching The Gifted. We can get into watching stuff. But I've been watching The Gifted, and The Gifted is based in the X-Men universe. Well, the X-Men universe is based off of civil rights. Like, what I mean? Like the whole thing of the X-Men is based off of the civil rights movement. And basically, Professor X and Magneto are, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, because they both want the same goals, but they have different ways of how.
That's the thing. It's like people. I'm like, you guys got to realize that you're on the wrong side of history, man. If you're watching the X-Men, you're going to be thinking, man, these people treating the X-Men like crap. Man, I wouldn't treat them like crap. And then you're like, you're acting like those people.
You can watch the X-Men and feel bad for the plight of mutants, but then look at that black dude and be like, I don't know about you, dog. Like, for real?
They said exactly like that.
You know what I mean? Like the idea that like, like it's crazy that we see this, and it's happening more since the president has emboldened them. But like it's very much anti-mutant. And it's like human rights, you know what I mean? Like it's all of that stuff just wrapped up in something else. But that's what it was originally wrapped up in the first place, and people just don't realize it. Like I said, I've been watching The Gifted. I'm about halfway through. I'm close to halfway through season 2, and like I'm seeing the direct parallels. But how many of the people on the other side of this are not noticing the parallels at all? And that's it. It's crazy that it's right there in front of you. Like the moment someone tells you that Professor X and Magneto are Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, it all makes sense. It all makes sense instantly. But like, how many people are going to take that and internalize it as like, wait, so if I've been Team Magneto, if I've been Team Professor X, I am, I'm still not connecting that with the plight of people that don't look like me. It's crazy how like we, and it's been a thing, especially on Facebook, how like something happens and like we all watch the same thing and we just see completely different things. Like like we watch a video on Facebook of someone getting shot by police. And like some of us will look at it and say, hold on, that didn't need to happen. Some of us say that was unjustified. And some people would say, well, what the hell did he do to cause that? And it was like, no, you saw what happened. You saw the whole thing. You saw the whole thing through a body cam or whatever you want to call it. And like then you have questions for the person that's the victim. Like, how do you, like we get like super deep into blaming the victim in this country, instead of like questioning the victimizer. Like, you know what I mean? Like we do a lot of that, especially when it comes to women, because like we do not treat women well at all. Like, it's super. Hold on. She said this president is what Cat Williams said it was, choking yourself and coming at the same time. Yeah, that's pretty much. But like, see, here's the thing. Somebody actually put like this presidency is like that part in the Lion King where Scar ran Pride Rock. You know what I mean? Like, like how many people have seen the Lion King? How many people go watch the Lion King now on Broadway and all that kind of stuff? And you realize that if you get the wrong person in charge, everything's fucked up. And it's like all of these things that happen, like all of these things are here and they are available. All of these things you know about, and it's like you can't see that this thing is happening in your own life. This thing is happening. Like what happened on the Lion King is what's happening right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like
you're like, his name is Scar.
No, I mean, I got the same name, but I'm like, but that's because of my finger. See, Scarfinger. Yeah. But like that's the, you know what I mean? Like the idea that, you know, it's crazy how we can all lean into our how we feel about this shit. Because I saw someone share, and I'm not putting nobody on blast, but I saw someone say that, like, you know, 12 million illegal immigrants got a check this month. Federal employees, how you feel about that? And at the top, it was shared from a Trump 2020 Facebook group. But it's like, the federal employees are not getting paid because of the same person that you're promoting for the next election. You know what I mean? Like, you're looking way past the cause of the issue, and then you're just saying that, and then you're just saying something that's factually inaccurate about like how the immigrants are getting paid, but the federal employees are not. And then like asking the federal employees what they think about it. No, they think that this president is fucked up and they fucked them over. That's what the fuck they're thinking. But of course, if you are on that side of somewhere that would say that, like if you're on that side with someone that would say that, then you're looking at it the same way as they are. And like, we all need to change our perception of this. Like we all need to meet in the middle. I think the middle is the best place to be. Like whether you are way left or you way right, like we all need to meet in the middle about this and have some real honest discussions. Even with
because I mean, I will admit there are crazy people on both sides. I mean, there are far left which are but the thing is, people will see the extremes and then assume that's everybody. Like people will see, oh, it's these SJWs posting crazy shit again, and then they assume that all, you know, feminists want to castrate men, and that's not true at all. That's just like like one Reddit account.
Yeah, we just don't want to be the lowest class. It's kind of like how what's happening in this country is the same thing that happened in the gaming community. The fanboys have ruled the roost. And it has messed everything up. Like I mean, basically, the Democrats and Republicans are the Sony and Microsoft fanboys.
Yeah.
And like, so Sony is the Republicans, and the Democrats are Microsoft.
And what's PC? The centrists.
PC is the independents. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because like I was thinking about it. I was like, you can think of PC as like a part in the console ward, but you know, but it's not, because like I could have an AMD system and you can have an NVIDIA system, and AMD people and Intel people don't care. They just buy the thing that they want, and they're not.
AMD and NVIDIA people are not like, fuck your graphics card, dude. It's like they're basically the PC crowd is basically libertarian. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, we're just gonna do it ourselves. Like we can rely on ourselves, and we can get this thing taken care of way before worrying about what y'all are doing. We can get this done. We can get this taken care of ourselves.
Yeah, it's just the libertarians ain't what they used to be. They're kind of crazy these days too.
It's not. I mean, but like again, you judged all of them on the extremes.
Yeah.
Is exactly what you just said. You judge them on the extremes, and like the idea, most of us aren't extreme. Most of us, we are cemented in our ideals. Most of us are cemented in our ideals, but most of us don't go that far right or that far left. Most of us are closer to the center than we would like to admit. But like right now, the lines have been drawn, and it's that song. It's a rap song. You probably have never heard it before, but you either with me or against me, ho. Like there is no middle ground. And like, how the fuck do we find a middle ground here? Because like,
I think Blue was talking about that he knows somebody that was like, you either love me or you hate me.
Yeah, and it's crazy that this is what we become. And we've seen this happen in different facets of our existence. We've seen it happen with our entertainment. We've seen it happen in music with East Coast, West Coast rap beef. We've seen it happen in music with the new versus old country music, new versus old rock music. Like we've seen this happen. We've seen this divide happen in music. We've seen it happen in movies, how people like, I like these art films, fuck these superhero movies that are ruling the roost right now. And like, you know me, and then like, there's always like a billion people that hate the new Star Wars movies.
But at the end of the day, they can still hang out and like be civil.
No, they're not civil. That's the problem. It's just you're not. You don't associate with the people that are against it. Because I watched when I saw The Last Jedi, I looked on YouTube for some people who were talking about The Last Jedis and stuff like that. And when I did that, I opened my YouTube up to the worst thing possible, which is the people who always fucking complain about The Last Jedi. Like I get stuff like that now. Like, look, I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay.
I'm gonna share my screen.
Well, Amber did ask, how do you change the the problems that we all are in different pages and have different perspectives, but how do you change that?
I'm sharing my screen right now. You see my screen.
Yeah.
And like I'm watching, I have this up so I can see the chat.
Yeah.
Right here, there is a Star Wars problem video. Like I said, I looked at one or two things talking about the movie just as a whole, and I get these things all the time suggested to me. And it's just people ever since that movie came out.
Weirdest Soldier Boy console ever.
Yeah, I don't know. All of the gaming people are talking about these Soldier Boy consoles. But see, here's the problem with the Soldier Boy consoles, and we can move on soon. Well, actually, no. Let me answer the question. How do we fix it? How do you change that? Okay. First of all, I think the real answer, which is going to sound absurd, but we are never, as the human race, we are never going to be on the same page until the aliens come. It sounds absurd, but hear me out here. Hear me out here. We're not, the only times in our lives that we have all been on the same page is in the face of tragedy, when we all had someone else to hate. When we all didn't have time to hate on each other, we all had someone else to hate. 9/11 is the perfect example, because like, prior to 9/11, we were still pretty much, I mean, it wasn't as bad, and people weren't as far to the left or right as they are, but we still had racism, we still had class issues, we still had a lot of issues. But for a good strong month or so after 9/11, nobody had any issues, because we had someone else to hate, and we had basically, we basically shifted all of our hate, our anger, and everything to people from the Middle East. And we did it as a collective. I'm not saying that you individually did that. I'm saying as a collective, this country shifted what happened to people from the Middle East, where there were people who were not even Muslim, like there were Sikhs that, they just had turbans, you know what I mean? Like they were getting assaulted and all of that kind of stuff. And like the majority of us, we just let it slide. And a lot of black people just let that shit slide because for once this shit wasn't happening to us. And we absolutely just let this shit slide. And like we let our feelings about what was happening get us into a dumbass war that we had no business being in. Like we had no business being in Iraq. You know what I mean? Like someone said a long time ago, it's like, okay, so you mean to tell me the 9/11 attack was planned mostly by people in Afghanistan? The majority of the people that were on those planes perpetrating the attack were from Saudi Arabia. We fuck up Iraq. What sense does that make? And then someone else said, like, yo, we took over Iraq in 2 weeks. You couldn't take over Detroit in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? You can't take over Chicago in 2 weeks. You can't completely lock down Chicago in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? But we took over Iraq in 2 weeks. And then, because of how we were feeling, like we just kept looking around like, okay, what are we supposed to do now? And that led to a lot of people who were in power to abuse that situation. So like I said, because of what happened in 9/11, where we were all collectively, not individually, but collectively, we shifted the blame of what was happening in our society to someone else. We were all at that time, except for the people from the Middle East, we were all together. And the only way that we can recreate that on a worldwide scale is when the aliens come. So we all have someone else to hate. We all have someone else to side eye. Like the aliens are the only solution for us to have lasting peace between each other. It's just the aliens. Like there is no other thing that can happen that's not gonna there's no other thing that can happen that is going to bring us together in that way without us hating on some part of the world. There just isn't. So it's the only real answer is aliens. The temporary solution is every one of us looks into ourselves and we all adopt the golden rule. We have to treat people how you want to be treated. And it doesn't require...
I think the internet and social media made things worse. I think things got worse after the 2010s. Like after Gamergate and stuff, it really got...
Well, see, the problem with the internet is it gave everybody a voice. And like, it gave everybody a voice. And like once you voice your mostly bullshit opinion, you can find other people through social media that feel the same way that you do, so that you feel normal. Before social media and mostly Facebook,
I think YouTube would be so much better if there wasn't the chat and there wasn't downvoting, and like you would just go to you could watch the Young Turks or something and not see, like, you can just hear what they had to say and move on.
But we knew this was going to happen.
But it's kind of like watching, like, what if you're watching Buffy, right, on TV, and on the side there's a chat, everyone talking shit about the show.
I'm gonna tell you, we should have known that this was going to happen, or at least Google should have known this would happen because of Amazon. Do you know what I'm saying? You get where I'm going with this?
The reviews and stuff?
Absolutely. When someone pissed off a certain segment of the population, the reviews on whatever would just get bombed. Like absolutely just bombed. And like it got to the point to where it's like sometimes Amazon would just be like, yo, bro, y'all need to chill out. We need to turn these reviews off. Like it's just like it, like every time you piss somebody off, like it, or like a certain group is offended by what you do, then your shit get hit. So like we should have known that before they put this shit in YouTube. The up and down voting. We should have known that because we saw this shit happen with Amazon.
Because you would think that like just upvoting would be enough. Like if you're a low channel and then all of a sudden you see a bunch of downvotes, that's just going to make you feel bad. Like if you had upvotes, if you didn't like it, then you just wouldn't get no likes.
But it also is a societal problem, which the way that we were raised and the way that we did not raise our children. That we were raised to accept defeat and try to rise above it, and young people were not. Like the idea of the whole "No Child Left Behind," that all that shit happened pretty much after I was. All that pretty much happened after I was. Every time Sam messages, I get a loud thing in my ear. So like the idea, the idea, and a lot of people say participation trophies. No, it's not just the participation trophies. It's the fact that we're not allowing young people to fail right now. And like you have to accept failure, you have to accept disappointment, and you have to know
Yeah,
how
people do mention the participation trophies, but a participation trophy isn't a winning trophy. Like you're not gonna like get a participation trophy and be like, "Yay, I won." You're just gonna be like, "Yeah, everyone gets this, whatever."
Right.
It's not gonna make you feel any.
And people my age who have been in sports all of their lives, they all say the same thing. I got a participation trophy. Like, why are we acting like this is new? Like, if for real, if the trophy man only made trophies for first, second, and third place, that doesn't seem like a successful business, does it? Like, if the trophy man only made, like, the trophy man in your small town only made the first, second, and third place trophies, that does not seem like a wise business to be in. Or if that's the only thing that you're going to provide, you're not going to be in business for very long. Participation trophies have been a part of our lives, or at the very least, some motherfucking ribbons has been around forever.
Yeah. Well, and
then all of a sudden we act like these trophies are getting in our way of life. But like the thing about it is, it's not the thing about the trophies that's the problem. It's how you explain the trophy to your child.
Yeah.
It's how you explain the trophy. Be like, hey, you didn't win, but you did your best. Thank you for doing your best. But now we need to try harder so we can get the better trophy. No, people are telling their kids to accept the trophy that they got. Like, no, I don't want to teach you to accept failure. I want you to understand that you failed, but there is a way to get around that, and then that's to work better, harder, smarter, whatever you want to do, or just maybe you're playing against the Patriots. You know what I mean? Like maybe you're playing against the Patriots.
Well, I mean, if you think about like say like Call of Duty or something, like everybody gets XP for the match, right? But if you win, you get a lot more XP.
Right.
So
but the fact that everyone is constantly getting a reward. That constant need to reward people, even if you don't succeed, is not a bad thing, but how you explain it is the bad thing. She said, do you think utopia is possible? Do you ever think that will happen? Absolutely not, because we all have different views on what utopia is.
I think dystopia is a possible. Actually, I think we're already in dystopia.
I wouldn't say that we are in full on dystopia. We are in pre-dystopia right now. We're in pre-dystopia. Like we are constantly seeing how things are changing, how things are going down, and it's making us like
we're pretty much in a cyberpunk universe, just with less neon.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's I mean, it's really dark. Like, like when Scar ran Pride Rock. Pride Rock was dark as hell when Scar was in charge. Like, and that's just pretty much how like a lot of us feel. But like, and then like you have these other people who are just are not forced to look at themselves. Like you at some point you have to do self-examinations. I know for a lot of us, we only do self-examinations when we hit milestones in our lives. Like a lot of us do that real self-examination when we hit 30, and then when you hit 40, and then when you hit 50, and all that kind of stuff. But what about that time in between? Why do you not take the time to examine yourself and how you're living your life and how you're treating other people? The treating other people part is the most important part here. Like the treating the other people part is super important, but we're not doing that until we hit these milestones. And when we hit the milestones, we typically just rationalize it away.
Yeah. Well, a little side note. Sam did mention he messaged us and he said, "Hey, I've not even left yet. I didn't know recording earlier would be an option." And I was like, I didn't even think about that. So Sam could have been here the whole time. But I sent him the link.
That's why I put it in the chat. You see what happens? I put it in the chat and say, "Hey, I can record earlier," and I put it in the chat so that if you know.
Well, I gave him the link, so if he wants to join in, he can.
Okay, so I think utopia is impossible because we all have different versions of what utopia is, and when someone decides what's utopia for you, that's how we create a dystopia.
You see that? Did you see that thing? The Def Comedy Jam 20-year thing yet?
Nope, never really got around to it.
Oh,
I know it's on Netflix or something like that.
The best part is Dave Chappelle and DL.
Yeah, I did see that part with just the two of them were just up there just riffing.
Yeah, because that's what it means to be black in America. And then what's the place? He was like, "No, we got to do that again."
Yeah, so I I mean, it's scary. Like this whole shit is fucking scary. Like, and I was scared prior to this because, like, you see a whole bunch of people, that look like you getting killed, and you're kind of, and it's a really scary time. I'm still afraid of police. I'm sorry, I am. Not to the same extent that I was, because at one point I was paranoid that I was going to die. And I felt that shit in my soul when all of these people, because Mike Brown and Alton Sterling and all of these people, like half of those dudes that if you looked at them, half of those dudes were large black men. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't just like they were just black men; they were large black men, and they were, there was cause to be afraid. And then you could say, like, these police officers weren't afraid, but like if they weren't afraid in any way, shape, or form, then why did they take such extreme measures to neutralize someone that wasn't a threat to them? You know what I mean? Like, when you think about it, and it's like the guy who killed Mike Brown, and I'll say this to the day I die, the guy who killed Mike Brown, the way that he explained how Mike Brown appeared to him when their altercation happened is absolutely crazy. Like Mike Brown got upset and instantly became the Incredible Hulk that needed to be put down. But when you look at their heights and weights, they were roughly the same. So like someone who's roughly the same size as you, all of a sudden looks like an absolute monster just because he got upset. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you not see anything of yourself in that person when you're basically when the main difference between you is your skin color?
Right.
When your measurements are pretty much the same, how do you not see any of yourself in that person? And how do you not understand that my thing with all of this stuff, no matter how you feel about a situation, like and I'm going to contradict myself, especially when it comes to the topic of abortion. But no one has to die for this. And then, for the topic of abortion, we there has to be a consensus of when does that thing become a person, I guess you would say. When does that thing become a person? Because once you're a person, like, no one has to die for any of this. No one should have to die because of how you feel. You know what I mean? No one should have to die because of how you feel.
Right.
And I know it's, giving my thoughts on abortion and like what's happening with the thing in New York and all of that kind of stuff that I'm really not going to get into. It is really the gray area there is like, when does this become a person?
This has been a heavy podcast.
It's been super heavy, but the facetious is over. I didn't have the dream team this morning. I am like, my girl's gone to Alabama for a week. I'm a very talkative mood. I've been sitting here by my goddamn self all day yesterday, because she left yesterday. But I've been sitting here by my damn self all day yesterday. So I ain't really had too many people to talk to.
And then you're thinking, I'm gonna play video game with Chase, and I get pissed off.
Yeah. So let's talk about some stuff, man.
Yeah, let's do that.
Actually, I need to get some juice from my vape. I mean, it's right there behind me.
I see it.
But we didn't even really talk about our weeks. I didn't really have anything going on. Did you?
Not too much.
How's your coding going?
It's going good. I'm kind of doing goals for me to get through. So I'm not like, if I'm doing too much, I might get burned out, you know what I mean? If I'm doing too less, I might forget what I'm doing. So I'm setting goals. So this weekend I'm kind of getting to the first milestone, which is a project. So I'm going to get to that and then do the project next weekend, which is making some sort of game.
Okay.
It'd probably be a simple ass game, but it's like maybe like awesome. I'm making a game and then it's like freaking Division 3, you know.
You're pretty much gonna make a Switch game, because like, holy shit, the Switch online store, the e-store,
Yeah.
it's just filled with a bunch of just pixel art nonsense. Like, it's just absolutely filled with it, and it's just like, bruh, can we do something else? Can we make anything else? Like, all of this stuff that's supposed to look like old stuff, like, yo, can we make something that looks new? At least try. You know what I mean? Like, I know I play a lot of Prison Architect and RimWorld. Those don't look like pixel art. Yes, it's a very, very muted, you know what I mean? Like, it's very, very low key art style, but it's not pixel art. Like, can we do anything else?
Yeah, I wish I could see more side-scrolling games like that look like Castle Crashers, to where it like looks like cartoons. I was like, back in the day, you would like look at a Mega Man game and like look at the cover, and then the game looks like the pixel stuff. But now we can make a Mega Man game that looks like the cover. Why don't we do that?
Exactly. Like, that's the crazy stuff. Like, back in those days, we based what we wanted to buy off of the covers, and the covers are all like over elaborately designed and all that kind of stuff, and the games look absolutely nothing like that. But like, in a world where we can do that now, why are we not doing that? You had the exact right question. Like, why are we not doing that? Why do we keep making pixel art games? And then, like, the people who played the NES and the SNES, are there really that many of them that want to recreate that in any way, shape, or form? Or is it just easy to do so that you can get a game on the Switch? Because like, it's infested with this shit on the Switch. I mean, absolutely infested. Like, it's bad.
I mean, I see things that seem like it's inspired by Pix. Okay.
Keep going. You're supposed to keep talking.
Well, I was wanting it to be silent for the recording, but
Oh,
yeah, the things that I see that are kind of cool are the games that are inspired by pixel art, but they're not pixel art. So it's like a character that looks like it might be pixel art, but they have like flowing hair and stuff. So
no,
so
it's still no. Like we can move beyond this shit now. Like yeah, you can make your character can be inspired by this, but it doesn't have to look like that. Like you can make your character be inspired by that pixel art, but still make it look like Castle Crashers, because obviously Castle Crashers was inspired by pixel art.
right.
But like you don't have to do that. Why do people keep doing this? It's
Because
my
I remember when I first I was like playing some like side scrolling games like Limbo and stuff, and then when Super Meat Boy come out, I was like, wow, this looks like they could have made this look a lot better. Like I would have probably liked it more if it was like looked like the little Super Meat Boy character and was all cartoony rather than like a couple of pixels on the screen. Plus,
yeah. Oh, we stopped. I stopped looking at the chat. Amber said there's so many protests and so much hate opinions. Where's the good in the world? The problem is all of the good is being done in very small places. Like there isn't a whole lot of good being done in the places where we need them done. Like like your community getting together and do something good for each other. And all the way up to the to like the government and stuff like that. The problem is the good is just being done in small places because there's not a whole lot of good people with the money in order to pull this off. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's not a whole lot of good billionaires. You know what I mean? Like the richest man right now, Jeff Bezos, he has never really done anything good for the world. And his stupid excuse is he can't figure out what to do. And now his wife gonna take half.
uh-huh.
I mean, but still, like half of $130 to $40 billion is still like a lot of fucking money. But like, I mean, I say throw her a couple mil. I mean, I'll throw her up to 30 bill. Like throw her up to 30 bill and just tell her to just fucking go away and keep her mouth shut. Bam.
Well,
Like,
the Bill Gates does good stuff, don't he?
Bill Gates does good stuff, but see, here's the thing: Bill Gates and Oprah are very similar in this aspect, to whereas they realize that our country is pretty much shit, so they do a lot overseas. You know what I mean? Like a lot, but like Oprah does a lot of things. Like someone criticized Oprah a while ago. Somebody criticized Oprah about like opening schools in Africa and stuff like that. And they said, what is she doing for us? Well, first of all, she ain't got to do a motherfucking thing for you. Nothing. But Oprah talked about like how many underprivileged kids that she sends to college, so they can go to college where they can't afford it, and they can make this shit happen for themselves. But like a lot of these people that are like super wealthy, they do a lot elsewhere because this country has fallen so far, and it's just like there is nothing I can do that can help this, because like I said, there is no easy fix to what's happening right now. Nothing. There really isn't an easy fix to this. The only temporary fix is we all try to adopt a golden rule, and that's only a temporary fix. We're never really going to get rid of this until the aliens come. Okay, and then she said she missed the N64 with Super Mario. I have no experience with the 64 at all, so I can't.
Well, I would say that sometimes you remember things differently. So if we got a 64, which we could, and then get Super Mario for the 64, I think the experience would be better with like the Mario game on the Switch, because it would probably be more. It's not close to what the 64 was, but it's probably closer to what your memory of the 64 was.
Fam, I'm gonna tell you, I experienced this shit personally. And then she said, I guess people are nostalgic when it comes to pixel games. Absolutely. But here's the thing: when you get the Switch Online, you get a bunch of NES games. like they're supposedly there's somebody data mined them for a little bit, and they're going to include some Super Nintendo games and maybe even push forward from there in their online service. I tried to play some NES games. I tried to play my favorite NES game. It used to be one of my favorite games of all time, Mario 3.
Mm-hmm.
I played for maybe about 20 minutes. Like, and that's all I could fucking stand. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's exactly what you said. Like, you have such fond memories for this. And like the idea that it just I tried to talk to Aaron about this because Aaron plays a lot of these smaller indie games and stuff like that. Aaron from Game Enthused, shout out to Game Enthused and Aaron and the boys over there. But Aaron plays a lot of these indie games, a ton of them, and he was really hyped at the time for like Rayman, and I asked him like, who the fuck still cares for side scrollers? Like who still cares about this? Like and apparently he and quite a few other people still cared about this, but like Rayman came out, it was the bomb when it first came out, and then it just died, just like everything else. But it just died because like it's not until you go back and play something like that you realize that you don't really care about those games anymore. Like I don't care about a side-scrolling platformer anymore of any kind. Why the fuck do I care about that? I'm past that. I can fucking play Mass Effect and have third-person 3D fucking conversations that actually mean something and like all of this other stuff. Why the fuck do I want to go back and play Mario? Like, why do I want to play old Mario? I don't know anything about new Mario because, and someone said that about the they re-released new Super Mario Brothers U, and they re-released that on the Switch, and someone said like, okay, like there really isn't anything here that the other Mario game that just came out doesn't provide you something much better, and like he's just said like. It's another side-scrolling Mario game, and it's a remake of a game that we already got. Am I interested in a new game from BioWare? I'm being cautious with it because it just looks like Destiny and Iron Man suits. I didn't pre-order, so I didn't get into this demo.
Yeah, I downloaded the demo and then realized I can't play it until next weekend, so I'm gonna keep it on my hard drive and I'm gonna still play it. And I'll probably play the main game, but I'm not gonna like buy it. I'm just gonna get Origin Premiere, and then I know that I have a bunch of other games that I can play if I don't like that.
I have EA access, so I can get in and I can, I'll get some time with it before I figure out whether I'm going to pay the rest of the money. Because one of the problems that I had when I bought Andromeda was I played a shit ton of Andromeda in the beginning. And if I would have just played the part that they gave me with the EA access, I would have ran over my 10 hours easily. Mm-hmm. So I ended up buying the game because I was very cautious about Andromeda because I was just kind of like, I don't know how you can really do this. So, but I ended up liking Andromeda. But like, so I'm going to do the EA access thing because, and then like after Andromeda failed, it became available in the EA access vault like really fast. So I'm just like, I just paid $60, well $55 because you get a discount when you buy through EA access. I just paid $55 for what, actually? You know what I'm saying? Why did I pay $55 for this? Like, when, like a month or two later, it's available to play as much as I fucking want to.
Right.
That will be the key. I think no matter what happens, Anthem is not going to be what is going to end up at launch. And I think everyone needs to understand this. We've seen this shit with Destiny. Like
we've seen it with every freaking game like that. Like Division.
We've seen it with every live service.
Even World of Warcraft is not the same as it was at launch.
Right. is so we've seen this with we've seen this with every live service. It ends up changing over time and it ends up being better over time. I think the best thing for EA is the fact that they have EA access in Origin Premiere on 2 of the 3 main platforms.
It is confusing. You said the hype for the game and the story is kind of confusing.
Because there's no, well, first of all, it's more of a Destiny type game, so the story isn't as strong as previous BioWare offerings. And so there isn't really a whole lot of hype because you hear BioWare and maybe not so strong of a story, and you just kind of go, well, yeah, but BioWare does stories. You know what I mean?
Because when you really think about it, like if it wasn't for the story in Mass Effect doesn't have even the good, like Mass Effect 2 and 3 doesn't have the best. There's other games that do that gameplay better. It's just the story is what you play those games for.
Yes, like I said, 1 is the best for establishing a world. That is the thing that I give 1. I do not want to play it anymore, but 1 is the best for establishing the story and a baseline for you to base all the rest of this stuff on. Gameplay wise, it's not the best, but as far as establishing a world and story, it is the absolute best of the series, period. But like this thing from the beginning, it just looked like Destiny and Iron Man suits, which, like, if you're excited about Destiny, which I'm not, I liked playing Destiny 2 when it first came out. I never really truly really got that far invested in Destiny 1, especially after you hit the level cap. After you hit the regular level cap, not your light level and all that other shit. But once you hit the level cap and then the grinding starts, I'm out at grinding. Like, you tell me I got to grind for some shit and I'm out. I just don't really care about it. In Destiny 2, I just started a new character. I started a Titan. I started a hunter or whatever it's called. That I hated. Like, I started new characters so I can just get to the level cap again because I don't care about the grinding stuff. That's me personally. I understand. And I've never done a raid. Well, I've never finished a raid. I attempted a raid one time.
So you would say that the hunter is your least favorite class? Absolutely.
And that's in both games. Hunter is my very least favorite class. So I hope that they can put out a good product, and I hope that EA puts the support behind it in order to make it better than what it's going to be at launch. But like, a lot of people can't even get into the demo because of server issues and all of that kind of stuff. And like, I watched a video from Clean Prince, and he's talking about the issues that he had with it. Like, he said he played on PlayStation and he played on PC, and he said that the frame rate is a problem, but his frame rate was a problem mostly on console, which a lot of people are going to go to consoles first. And he said that there's problems with the AI and all this kind of stuff. Now, they did say that this is 6 weeks old, but a lot of the bugs and stuff that he pointed out, he doesn't think that they're going to be able to get this really taken care of in 6 fucking weeks. It's like, really? So you got what? And the shit's supposed to come out soon, right?
But yeah, like the end of next month.
Yeah, so you don't have a whole lot of time. February the 22nd. You don't have a whole lot of time to get this right.
She asked if it's going to be something you have to play with others or if you can play it solo. I think you can do it both ways. I think you can play Destiny solo. But
it's Destiny. It's really Destiny, where you can play Destiny solo. I solo most of my Destiny experience on both games. I solo most of it, but when you play in games, you could probably end up with better loot and all of that other stuff. But they did say that there is, that there. But another thing Clean Prince said, the hub area is where he experienced the most problems. He said once he actually got out in the world and was like flying around and shooting and shit, he was perfectly fine. But most of the problems that he was having was in the hub world.
I had that problem with Warframe.
Yeah, I tried Warframe a couple of times, and I just never really got around. I never really got anything out of Warframe. Like, see, here's the problem. I had the problem with Warframe that I had with Blood Bowl. Like Blood Bowl and Warframe requires a fucking TED Talk to understand. You know what I mean? Like
the Warhammer sports game.
Is it Warhammer? But yeah, Blood Bowl. I have Blood Bowl too, and I bought it for like super cheap from GameFly. When I didn't have,
I believe that Blood Bowl just came from the joke to where like it's fantasy sports. You know, it's like football with elves and shit.
Yeah, and at the time, Mutant League Football was gone. But even they just came out with a Mutant League Football, and you can actually get that on the Switch, but it's like $30 or $40, and I'm like, I ain't about to spend $40 fucking on Mutant League. Fuck out of here. But it was kickstarted and all that kind of stuff, and then the game actually came out. But the whole Blood Bowl thing, I tried to play it and I tried to go through the tutorial and stuff like that, but like it's not enough. It's kind of like how I feel about like Prison Architect and RimWorld. Like, if I hadn't watched a ton of videos of Let's Plays and stuff like that, I would have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. And I think that's where a lot of people are going wrong. And that's the reason why I started the Prison Architect thing. And while I'm going to eventually restart the RimWorld thing, is because like, even if you want to play this and like I said, it's available in Game Pass and all that kind of stuff. It's you need a better understanding because the tutorial is not enough.
Right.
The tutorial teaches you some very base level stuff, but like there's other things that the tutorial doesn't cover at all. Like a reception area, you never see a reception area in the tutorial, and you never know to build one. So like that type of stuff. So I felt the same with Warframe. Like, you know, like Blue is an advocate for Warframe, and you know, some of the people from the community are advocates of Warframe. But the biggest problem with that whole thing is that it you know, someone has to explain this shit to you because the tutorial doesn't explain enough. And I don't know if I'm really willing to do that, especially with Warframe and like the fact that you can get somewhere in Warframe, but it's going to cost you extra money in order to speed this thing up. If not, you just going to have to fucking wait. And I don't know if I'm down for that.
Right.
Well, okay. So, we never actually got around to our stuff. Do we still want to do that?
Sure. Yeah, I've pretty much watched all of Sabrina except for one episode. I got really sleepy and I went to bed, and Amber watched the last episode without me. So I think tonight or sometime we'll actually remedy that and we'll watch that last episode together. The new season of it comes out in like April 5th, I think. So, but I dug it, and I dug it.
Amber said that she's not excited about the game. I wasn't excited for Andromeda. If we're being completely honest, I was not excited about Andromeda until I actually played it. And to be honest, story-wise, Andromeda isn't anything close to either of the other three. It tries to take a lot from it does the episode 7 thing to episode 4. You know what I mean? Where there's a lot of similarities between Andromeda and the first Mass Effect. There's a lot of similarities, but it just doesn't come close. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing with episode 7 and episode 4. There's a lot of A New Hope in the Force Awakens.
Right.
A ton. But it just doesn't quite pull it off. The same way that a lot of people can say, I enjoyed The Force Awakens, but I realized what they were trying to do, and they didn't always succeed for me. But as far as this goes, I'm not that excited. I'm glad I have EA access. That's all I can say. I'm glad I have EA access where I can get in and I can play a little bit, and it might make me feel better about it enough to actually buy it. But like, it's the same thing with Destiny. Like, it all really depends on how many of my friends are actually going to stick with this before I'm really going to decide to put some real money into this. Because if they don't, if I don't have enough friends to do this, I don't want my Destiny experience to repeat where I'm basically just playing this shit by myself.
Right.
But because of EA Access, I'm definitely going to choose the Xbox for this.
Yeah. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually kind of dumb to buy any EA game on PS4 if you have an Xbox, because you can
You know
riot.
what I'm saying? Unless you want to play Madden with your niggas, like there's no fucking reason to buy Madden. I saw a copy of Live for the PlayStation, and I saw like really cheap versions of Madden for the PlayStation, and I'm just like, I have no reason to buy these. Well, first of all, I play most of these sports games by myself, so it's okay to have it on the PlayStation, but like I already have EA access, so I can play the shit now with no issues.
Right. Yeah, and did you watch anything else, man?
I watched The Gifted. I watched a ton of The Gifted. Like I said, I'm halfway through the second season. I really dig The Gifted. And I'm and like I said last week, The Gifted gave me a moment. Like it really gave me a moment where I kind of fell apart for a few minutes. But like so far, I'm really digging it. I'm about halfway through season 2 of Runaways also. And I think those are the two main things, other than all of the YouTube I watch. Those are the two main things that I've been watching. Runaways is good. I like how they've made changes. I will say this to the end. I love how they made changes to the comics. If they would have followed the comics, it would not have been great. But I mean, no, if it would have been cool to see it on the screen, but it would have been something I've already seen, and I'm glad they made changes to that. It's been enough time in between the comics and the TV show that they could make those changes, but I really dig it. And the changes for anybody that's read the comics for Runaways is kind of the same way if you've ever read or listened to an audiobook of True Blood. Because if you read anything from True Blood, or the Sookie Stackhouse books or whatever you want to call them, if you ever read the books completely take the perspective of her. It's only through her perspective. So like all of these other characters in True Blood, in the TV show, you don't get access to them in the same way that you do in the books, because the books are only what she thinks about them.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you got to build these characters out and like turn them into something, because in the comic books for Runaways, it's just from the kids' perspective. Like the parents are just cookie cutter villains. And the Runaways TV show, there really isn't any like villain. Everyone has their motivations, but it's not like a super villainous. Like it's not that. It's not a yes, I succeeded. It's none of that. Like everyone has their own motivations, and like even someone that you think is evil, can actually have something behind him. And because of a TV show, you have time to like get to know these characters that you didn't get to know before.
Right.
And that really helps out for anybody that has actually read the comics like I did. Like I said, I started reading it during a hurricane, when the hurricane knocked out the power. So I didn't have any other choice. I didn't have a choice of what else to do. I just read a whole bunch of comic books and read a whole bunch of books during that. And I really enjoyed them, but this is more enjoyable than that because they don't follow the same thing. Kind of like The Walking Dead, how The Walking Dead very closely followed the comic books for like the first season until the very end of the first season, and it just took a wild deviation. And even though there's some things from the comics that they call back to The Walking Dead, they still move in a different direction. I know some people say the same thing about Game of Thrones, but I don't really watch Game of Thrones. I watched the first season and I stopped. So those are the two things that I watched.
Yeah, Amber mentioned it, but I do want to watch all the Marvel movies in order, because I've seen just like a few like here and there, but there's a few that I haven't seen. I haven't seen any of the Thor movies, and I haven't seen the first 2 Iron Man movies. And
Oh,
everyone says, "What?" But I haven't seen the first 2 Avenger movies. I haven't seen the Avengers or Age of Ultron.
The Avengers is my favorite movie of the MCU so far.
That's what
Because
everybody says. So
uh, it doesn't hold up to repeat viewings though. Because I like it because I'm a Joss Whedon stan, and it is very Joss Whedon-y.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you have the
me and Amber
jokes.
both are Josh Whedon fans. So
Yes, so like the how like how the first Avengers movie was pulled off. Only someone like Joss Whedon could do it because he's done all of these TV shows where you have these ensemble casts and they all have to have their moments. But like only someone that's done that can pull this all together in the way that he did do it.
right.
So that's what I would say. You need a Joss Whedon to do that first movie. And like and they kept everything rolling. I dig the fact that everything isn't like super serious. Like nothing really gets super serious until like Winter Soldier is super serious. Thor 2 is super serious. And for the most part, the last movie was super serious. But like but shit got real in the last movie, so like it could be. But I tried to start try to start the movies with my girl. She's only seen maybe 1 or 2 of them. And I started with Iron Man, and she just didn't get it. So I just stopped. Like she just didn't get it at all. Like she's not one of us.
If you don't get it from Iron Man is a movie that like you can get even if you're not, because it's like half the movie takes place in the Middle East and stuff. So
Yeah. I don't know. We had to watch Iron Man in 2 sittings. She just didn't get it, and I had to stop it. And she was like, "Well, I'll go ahead and finish it."
But yeah,
she just
after I watched Civil War, I was like, I think I want to go through all these. Because there's something going on here that I didn't think was going on. And I think I want to do this. Because I've seen Iron Man. I've seen The Incredible Hulk, but I don't remember it. I seen Civil War. I've seen Black Panther.
Civil War meaning the most implausible movie ever. Like for real. Like the whole crux of Civil War is the idea that for the way that movie to end the way that it did, there had to be a lot of things that had to happen exactly right, and there was no way that this shit would have happened the way that it happened. Like you had to get Cap and Bucky to go to this certain place. You had to make sure that fucking Iron Man followed you, and then like you had to like all of these things have to happen in a certain way if for this thing to land the way that it did. Like it all had to be like it's incredibly coincidental.
Yeah.
And then Black Panther had to follow them. And like, you know what I mean? Like all of these things had to happen in a certain way. And there's no way possible that if this wasn't a movie, all of these things would have happened exactly the way that it happened.
Right, but I dug it, and I seen Doctor Strange and Black Panther, and I dug those. So I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go through all these.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you this. I did not love Captain America, the first one.
I've heard that, but I still want to watch it just to watch them all.
Well, most of the movie, he's not actually doing anything. It tells you about his training, and then it's a lot of the USO type stuff. And like he doesn't get to be actual Captain America until towards the end. I'm just letting you know that in advance.
Right.
And so like the beginning of the movie, even though it's really setting the table for everything, there's a lot where nothing really important is happening. But it's world building in a Mass Effectian sort of way.
Mass Effectian?
Yes, it's a very Mass Effectian sort of way. Thor 2 is Uh, Iron Man 3. Well, kind of a little bit more Iron Man 2, kind of, but Iron Man 3, Iron Man 2, the director of Iron Man 2 has probably the longest fight scene. Not Iron Man. Because he directed the movie, but he's also the guy who works for him. What's his name? Happy? You saw him in
oh yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
He also directed the Iron Man movies.
Yeah.
And in Iron Man 2, he has the longest fight scene.
Yeah, I've seen Iron Man 2 actually, but I don't remember much of it.
I can't remember whether it was Iron Man 2 or 3. 2 or 3 just kind of blur together. But Iron Man has this problem. Iron Man has a problem where like every villain of Iron Man has some sort of a suit. Like it's the you know what I mean? Like it would suck if like every Spider-Man villain was like Venom. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Where someone was like similar powers and all that kind of stuff. Like that would really suck. And to an extent, it did happen in Black Panther. As long as it doesn't happen in Black Panther 2, we're okay. But like if Black Panther 2 happens in the future, which we know it will because it made too much money, if Black Panther 2 happens and the villain of the story has a panther suit, like that's gonna be all the problems. Or has something even similar to a panther suit, that's going to be a huge problem. But like the fact that every Iron Man has some sort of a suit or some sort of tech, just really kind of sucks. Like it really just does. But in Thor, The Dark World is terrible. It's really bad. Like it's one of those things where you just got to get through it. It's like Buffy season 1. You just got to get through it. You ain't got to love it, but you got to get through it in order to get to the goodness that is Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok is what happens after you have Guardians of the Galaxy and someone says, we can have fun with this, right? You know what I mean? Like that is what Thor Ragnarok is. Like someone decided that we can have fun with this. The first Thor movie, the first Thor movie, I equate to Drumline. Have you ever seen Drumline?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're basically the same movie. Except for one has to do with drumming, the other one has to do with
Thoring.
What Thoring? Like it's really Thoring. Yeah, that is the show title, Thoring. So like I equate those two, and like once you see it, like you'll understand what I'm saying. But I equate those things completely. Thoring. That is not the official show title. Thoring. But like it's still a pretty good movie. I didn't tell you. We meant to say this. They actually did get a cameo. They actually did get a cameo in The Gifted. For the first episode, they got a cameo.
Oh yeah,
and it's not like the TV show cameos. Oh, they actually did. They got a cameo from damn, what's his name? I just lost it. The Marvel dude, just passed. Stan Lee. Runaways and The Gifted both got a cameo, and it's not like the Marvel movies where he's like on a poster or something like that. He's actually in it. Like I watched a commentary track. One of the directors did a commentary track on the first episode of The Gifted, and he said that they shoot mostly in Dallas, and Stan Lee was at like some sort of Comic-Con, and so like he went through trying to find somebody who could get him to Stan Lee, and they asked him to do a cameo, and he was like, "Yeah, I can do a cameo, but you got to do it in the next 2 hours." So like they had to figure out, and there's a scene where one of the main characters is walking into a bar, and Stan Lee is walking out of the bar at the time where he's walking in, and they had to shoot that. They had to shoot that as fast as possible. Like they had to get a camera crew, they had to get everything. And it's just like, hey, we know we're supposed to shoot here tomorrow, but like, can we get here? We got a Stan Lee cameo that we have to do like right now. And they actually got that thing pulled off, and I thought it was really cool. And then in Runaways, they're going to like a dance or something like that, and Stan Lee is the limo driver.
Nice.
Yeah, so they actually did make the Stan Lee cameos in those shows, which I thought was really cool, and better than the Marvel Netflix shows because he doesn't actually appear in those. It'll just be like a missing poster, and it'll be his face on it. Like they'll be walking down the street, and there's like a picture or something like that of him on it.
Right.
So, all right. So, what have you been playing?
Well, Amber mentioned that I was playing in Darkness, but I mentioned that I haven't played it since the last show. But I started playing Rise of the Tomb Raider. I started that on the Xbox back when I had Game Pass, and I played about 4 or 5 hours of it, and then I didn't keep Game Pass, so I had it on PC. So I finished it on PC, and that's a really good game. I really like that game a lot. So I highly recommend that. Actually, I highly recommend the whole. I haven't played the third one, but I really liked the first one, and I don't remember there being much hype around the first one. And
there was a lot of hype around the first one until it actually came out, and then just like everything else, it died in 2 weeks.
Right.
The hype died in 2 weeks, but a lot of people.
Yeah, you say that a lot about like the Sony first party games, but I think it's like.
It's all of the AAA games.
Yeah, like unless it's like some sort of ongoing game like Overwatch or something, it just dies because people just have this mentality where they just want to play something new. They play like, I want to get this game and then play 3 hours of it, and then I want to play this other game. Nobody finishes anything.
But I say that about the Sony exclusives because people talk them up so much. And it's just like, yeah, you talk this thing up. You talk Spider-Man up so much, but it's going to die in 2 weeks just like everything else. And so like all of these things this is the reason why you want to own a PlayStation. Like, yeah, I'm going to be hype about owning this PlayStation for 2 weeks, and then I'm going to go back and play the same games as everybody else is playing.
Well, yeah, that's just people being freaking have attention spans of like mice.
It's just stupid hyperbole. Like it's it's just hyperbole. Like you want to make yourself feel better for owning this thing.
I'm a replayer. Like if I like the game a lot, I get in the moods where I'm like, hey, I'm in the mood I want to play BioShock, or I'm in the mood I want to play Uncharted, or I'm in the mood I want to play Mass Effect, the whole trilogy. And I do that. I don't really care about wanting the latest and greatest, you know.
I'm only really like that. There's few games that I do that too, but I'm only really like that with Mass Effect, as we all know.
And your RimWorld type games.
But those games don't have those. Those are all builders, and it comes to an end, but there's not a defined story. And like Amber said, we're amazing. You know what? We are amazing. Thank you. Amber. You are too. But like those games are like,
we have to do it in unison.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, bam.
I wish I could get a
screen cap.
Yeah.
So like see those games, they don't have like a specific beginning, middle, and end. It's just like for Prison Architect, you build your prison until you're tired of it, and then you build another one. So it's not like there's like a real story there. There's no story at all. For RimWorld, you can end it by doing a few things, but then it's basically the same thing. You just, once you get to where you want to stop, or if the game stops you because something can happen and all of your people can die, and you just start over. So it's not like I'm playing through a story and I come to a definitive end. This is how this is going to end, because it can work in RimWorld. It can work out a bunch of different ways. Like one time I had a colony and I built the colony up, and they sent a few dozen huskies, and then I got a thing that turned all of my power off, so I didn't have guns to kill all of the huskies, the man hunting huskies. So all of the huskies just kind of killed everything. So it's just whatever, it's in RimWorld is random. You can make it more random because they have 3 storytellers. Where there's 3 storytellers.
Random.
Yeah, Randy Random is the most random. The Cassandra Classic is the base game where she starts off small and builds up over time, and how it builds up and how hard they come after you depends on what you have. There's a wealth rating in the game, and like how much stuff you have, how good your guns and armor, how and the things that you have build up a wealth rating. And if you have a higher wealth, then they send more at you because they're like, okay, we're going to challenge you here. And then there's different levels to that. So Cassandra Classic is the one where they constantly ramp everything up. Phoebe Chillax is like Cassandra Classic, but she puts more space space of nothing in between the events. And you have good events and you have bad events. It's just Phoebe Chillax puts more
downtime,
but more downtime in between it, and she's basically but for all of them, you can lower it to a level that's basically you're just base building. Like it's not a lot of conflict and stuff like that. So it's different levels in each. And Randy Random is just random. He can do anything. Like absolutely anything. For some reason Randy Random likes to send you stuff where you just get random stuff just dropped into your world and you just got to go get it. Randy Random does that a lot, but then Randy Random will, like, I was on Randy Random when I had the Huskies come. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, okay, you got 40 man hunting Huskies coming after you, and oh yeah, we're gonna turn all of your power off so your guns don't work. Like that's Randy. Randy will do like some weird shit like that. So like it's that. So like I said, it's all random. So it's not really a definitive thing. Like, so it's easy to come back to it. In that vein. But like for Mass Effect, there is a specific beginning, middle, and an end to go through it, and it's one of the few games that I go back to. Like those the Halo games to a certain I said nano because she said banana phone. Like games like Halo and stuff like that, I used to go back to a lot. I just don't now, and mostly is because you go back to the games, you have the same experience, and then it's over because I don't care about multiplayer.
I get to where it's like, certain games remind me of certain time periods that like the Darkness and Time Shift, and to a lesser extent, like Call of Duty 4 and stuff, remind me when Amber was pregnant with Aiden and stuff, and we were like living in a certain house and all that stuff. So I get like that, to where it's like, and plus a lot of the games that I play first on a generation, I kind of get a little nostalgic for. So like the first games I played on the 360 or the first games I played on the current consoles, I get a little nostalgic for a little bit, more so the 360 than the PS4.
I don't have a whole lot of those for life events, with the exception of Mass Effect 2.
Mm-hmm.
Mass Effect 2, I prepared for, and that Mass Effect 2 was the last game that I was truly, truly overhyped for. Like, I just kind of mute my expectations now. I think this is going to be good, and I can't wait to play it. But Mass Effect 2, I set up everything. I got everything done around the house. I took the day off. And I told my ex-wife at the time, I said, look, when this game comes in, I am going to be all about this. And for like I'm gonna go get it at midnight. And when I start playing this, I don't know y'all. So like I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure that y'all straight before I sit down with this, because I am going to sit down with this and I'm going to play a bunch of it. I didn't realize that I was gonna play it for 8 hours that first night and get through most of the game. But because I mean at the time when it launched, it didn't have all of the extra content, blah blah blah, whatever.
Right.
But and so like I got on the next day and I kind of finished the game like in a few hours. When I woke back up the next day. So because I kind of rushed through it. I shouldn't have, but I kind of rushed through it. But at the time I didn't know about like making sure that you do certain things so people don't die. Like all of that stuff was not in the game.
And that's when you were feeling like I messed up.
Yes, the ending, the very first ending, I lost Morton, and that's when I knew I was hooked on Mass Effect, because I questioned myself. I absolutely do want to play Mass Effect 2 again. I want to take that same character that I lost Morton. I want to redo him, and I want to keep Morton alive.
Well, so you're probably going to have to at some point go through Mass Effect 1 again, just so you have that base character to import.
Nope. I'm not. Because here's the thing about importing a character from Mass Effect 1.
What?
It really doesn't matter. Like there's only really two things that matter in that? Two. There's only two things that matter. Whether who you let die and whether or not you save the council. Those are only two things that matter the most going forward.
Well, what about Rex?
Well,
and all the people that can remember you when you helped them.
In order for Rex to die, like I had to make that happen when someone told me he could die. He had never died in any of my playthroughs until someone told me that could happen. And then I made it happen. It's not something that, for the most part, most of my characters survived. Mm-hmm. Most of my characters, he survived because I had to specifically make that thing happen, because who wants to lose Rex?
Right.
And oh man, when I played Mass Effect 3 and he was in the Citadel DLC,
Bernanular phone.
That's my boy. That's my boy Rex.
Yeah, I also started back up on The Vision on PC, and at first it was an absolute shit show. Like I don't know what was going on. But because the cars were like Roblox cars, the snow was like at my face, like where it should have been on the ground. It was like running at like super low frame rates. It was I fell through the floor at one point. You know that the area to where there's some bad guys. It's dark. It's like a car garage, and then they'll turn on the lights, and then you go through the door behind them. Well, when I went through that door, I fell through the floor, and I just kept falling and falling for like a good 15 seconds, and then it finally was like, "You're outside of the player area," and, then, and I'm like, "No, duh, Jesus."
Right.
But when my character actually died, I did start in that next area, so that was good. That I didn't have to like replay that area again just because your game freaking screwed up. But then this morning I played, because when I was trying to like get through it, I was like really frustrated, and plus I was like super tired. But this morning I played through it, got through all that, no problem. I was getting a constant 50 to 60 frames per second, and it was fine. So I don't know what was up yesterday.
Yeah, I had some issues initially when I started playing yesterday. When I started playing yesterday, I had some frame rate issues and like even the sound stuttering on me. But like once I actually got out into the world and just started messing around, I seemed to be fine. Like the first group that I ran into to kill, they made the game stutter a lot. Mm-hmm. But like after that, I got caught in the middle of two groups that kept respawning. So while I was waiting for you, I just kept killing those two groups over and over again because they just kept fucking respawning. So like other than that, I didn't have any real issues with it. I really like the game. I really like the Division, and like the Division 2 is probably one of the only games that I'm really looking forward to this year, in any capacity. Like it's the only one that I don't. It's the only game that I don't really have any doubts about.
Well, I do want to
Because
get
I
through it
understand
because I liked it, right? And
Mhm.
I just didn't get it at launch. So most of the people that were playing it at launch weren't playing it anymore. Only person I had to play with was you, and I was playing with you on a console that you didn't really play with the Vision that much on. So I want to just get through this, and then if I get the Vision 2, just get it on the one that you're going to get it on, and then actually like play some Division, because I do like the gameplay. I like that style, that Tom Clancy style. I've always liked that style.
I'm likely going to get it on Xbox. Well, see, here's the problem with my Xbox. I'm still having the same internet issues. So like connected to a live service is probably going to be a pain. So hopefully it all works. Hopefully. Um, but I'm my Xbox is where I'm going to start with that. Um, and the thing about it is like I play PC games, but like the PC games that I play with a controller, I don't really love sitting here for that. If I'm sitting here, I would like to lean forward, have my hand on my mouse and keyboard and do that, but I'm not going to WASD for a shooter. I refuse. So like the Prison Architects and the Rim Worlds and all of that type of stuff. Like I'm cool with doing that, sitting here for hours on end, but I don't want to be leaned back with a controller in this hard ass chair.
Right.
And the only reason why I got this hard ass chair is because my actual chair makes too much noise when I move around, so I have to stop using it for podcasts because when I edited podcast, like all I could hear is this chair.
Is that the one that like when you sat down it sounded like you farted?
Oh no, that is this chair.
Oh,
It's just kind of a folding, is a like a wooden folding chair, but it does have like a plastic top. So when I'm up and I sit down, and it kind of makes a noise. But this chair here beside me, this thing makes a whole lot of noise when I'm moving around. When I move anyway, it makes noise, and it's just like, it's just annoying to listen to in a podcast. When I was using the voice meter, it kind of cut a lot of that out, but then I had to stop using voice meter because I started having problems. So it got on my nerves, so I had to stop.
right.
Okay, so as what I'm playing, I play a little bit of Light Seekers. I really like Light Seekers, and the fact that I can play the same game on the Switch and play the same game on my tablet is great, because then I could just switch to my tablet, use my Google Money, and buy cards and shit. I really still need to do a lot of research on how to build a good deck, because my decks are because basically for the most part I'm using starter decks, and that's not what's hot in these streets when you try to play anything other than just the regular stuff that they have you play. They're playing against the computer type stuff. So that's going to be an issue going forward. I got to learn how to build a deck, but I learned how to do it in for the Pokemon card game, which the Pokemon card game is really simple. Like they have a thing of with the online game, because like I don't really want to own all of these cards because there's I don't really have anywhere to put it, but put them in to really play, especially with anyone here.
Get you a notebook with the card sleeves.
Yeah, but that doesn't help me with my decks. And then if I build a deck, where the fuck am I going to take it? I don't play that.
You put them in the decks to keep them safe, but then when you want to play, you take them out the deck and shuffle them.
No, I'm good. I'd rather play digitally, and that works out a lot better for me. Especially because I got the Pokemon stuff, I scanned it into the game, and then I gave all of the cards to my daughter. So yeah, because she could use the cards more than I could. I just played online. But the Pokemon game has a cool thing where you pick a certain amount. You pick some cards that you want to kind of focus on, and then you just press a button and it builds a deck. It builds the rest of the deck for you, and then you can change stuff out however you see fit. And that's really cool. I really like that a lot. Like you pick like your two primary cards, and then it fills in the rest. So, but Light Seekers, it doesn't have that aspect. It does have deck building, and I just have to figure out what the deck building is really is. And they're going to have a Steam version really soon. And as long as I can link them all together, that's going to be great because you play the exact same game in all three places. Because even on the Switch, it is touchscreen only. You cannot play it docked. Yeah, like when I put it in the dock just to see, and it was like, yeah, this is available on touchscreen. You need to take this off.
Right.
So, and then I play a lot of Prison Architect. I recorded a lot of it so that I can put up videos on this YouTube page. I know it's going to separate places, but the Geek Skull Round Universe page, I just need to edit them because all of these videos are way too long. They're all like 40 minutes. With the exception of the third one. But I just get way too deep into playing it. It just says, keep calm, I got this. And it has a PlayStation controller at the top. She asked what my shirt says. I have two of these. I got this one and a blue one. They're both kind of old, and the letters and everything is just kind of cracking and shit. So I play Prison Architect, and I really liked it. I really like that game a lot. Amber says she's been playing a lot of the Mass Effect trilogy. Duh. Like, do you really play very much of anything else? And then I played 2K18. I did realize before I really got into 2K18 on the Switch that I probably should have bought 19. So I went to the store to try to find 19. And then I forgot that it's around the time of the All-Star game. So like all of the basketball games are just kind of gone. So like I was gonna trade it in, but then I realized I got a deal on this one. I got like $5 off. So really I only spent $13. And like all of the stores only really had it at full price. So like, do I really want $13 off of a $60 game? No, I'd rather just wait and just get it used later because I don't have to be up on the times, blah, 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 whatever. So I am playing a year-old game and I suck. I suck so bad. I've played like a bunch of the My Career stuff and I cannot shoot. I cannot shoot at all.
Because you're not WASDing.
No, man. I mean, it's a basketball game. It's a basketball game. But I can't shoot. Like, and when I'm playing and I'm just kind of in my crib and there's a basketball court there, and you just kind of shoot around and stuff like that, everything is fine. As soon as the game starts, even though I'm playing on easy, I'm Nepo in this thing and I still can't shoot. And then here's the crazy part. When you talk about 2K, you can't talk about 2K without the microtransactions.
Right. Like,
it's impossible. So I went ahead and I spent a little bit of money, not a lot, to just make my character a little bit better. So you start off like really low. They do have a shot creator, but you don't unlock the shot creator until your character is a certain level. Like your character has to be an overall 75 in order for you to be able to create a shot and kind of tailor it, the timing and stuff like that to you. So like, I'm like a 66 right now. And am I going to grind this thing out or am I just going to spend the money? And I do not want to spend a lot of money on an old game. I really don't. But I really need to do something about not being able to fucking shoot. So I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place right now when it comes to this shit. So I'm just kind of like, I don't know what to do here. So that's what's happening there. And those are the games that I'm playing.
Oh, yeah, Amber just reminded me, I did play the Resident Evil 2 demo, but I played it on PC and I wasn't able to get my frame rate above 30. But I did enjoy it, and that was the game to where I was like, I want Fred to help me out because I know that he owns the game. Maybe he can try it on a computer that's more like mine to see if it was just a demo or something. But I was like, mine's fine. I mean, it's not the like greatest of greatest, but it should be able to play this. So I didn't know what was going on, but I really dug it. Like, what they're doing with Resident Evil now is really cool. How they're like reinventing the series, but sort of going back to how they used to be in a way, to where it controls and stuff like a modern game, but like a lot of the story beats and the puzzle solving is like the older games. So I do dig that. So I really, and which is crazy, the Steam reviews on the new Resident Evil is like overwhelmingly positive, which is kind of hard to do on Steam reviews because people are salty as shit. You're muted. You're still muted.
I thought I pressed the button. I guess I didn't. It goes back to what we were talking about before. Like the internet is just a very, very bad place in most cases.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much been it, man.
I am plotting on a new vape mod. And I've been watching a lot of videos and stuff like that with people talking about their best of 2018. And so I'm really close, but I think I'm just gonna go cheap. I found something that's like super cheap, and it could use the same coils as I use. It uses the Baby Beast coils, and it uses the G4 coils for the NRG tank that I have, because I use the NRG G4 coils inside both of my mods now, because the coils from smoke are terrible. So I've been using the Vapresso coils, and they fit just fine. So I think I'm going to use something that still uses the same type of coils. I use the mesh coils, and they are fucking fantastic.
Amber liked them when she used them.
Yeah, mesh coils are the way to go, and most of the tanks coming out now have mesh tanks. So I'm plotting on that. I don't know whether I'm just going to buy a new mod and a tank combo, or do I just want to get a tank first and then worry about the rest later. So that's what I'm doing right now. But of course, there's a lot going on the internet right now about a company. But I don't know how deep you get into like the vape internet community.
Not too much anymore.
Now. Yeah, there seems to be a problem, and we'll talk about this and we'll wrap this up, and this is the end of the show. So I'm going to talk about vaping a little bit. So, like, for all the people who don't care about vaping, Meef, shout out to Meef, man. I finally got him that painting, and he received it the day before his daughter's birthday, and apparently she loved it, and she loved the video. She liked the video of me putting it together, like seeing it go from a blank canvas to the actual painting that she has. Was really cool, and I really and that's really dope.
Or Meef, you can hang out with us while we talk vape, and you can be in with the cool crowd.
Nah,
Come
cool.
on. You don't want to do this?
But this is what I'm getting ready to talk about is kind of important, outside of what I just talked about with vaping. But for anyone that don't care about vaping or don't care about what's happening with the anyone that doesn't care about what's happening with the government trying to crack down on this stuff, which is very important, especially if you have kids. Thank you for checking us out. And we'll be back next week with some more Scarcasm goodness. Okay, so there's a company called Voopoo. And Voopoo makes a very popular kit called the Drag. And there's been problems with Voopoo and a YouTuber before. And a lot of the people on YouTube are just kind of like, nah, we're not reviewing their products on our show anymore, that type of stuff, because they had issues with a YouTuber. But this thing really really pissed a lot of the YouTubers off. So Voopoo sponsored a video from a guy in the UK, and like for background, the government seems to be cracking down on, like, especially jewel pods, the little pods, the jewel pods, because they're saying that a lot of young people, a lot of kids, kids and like teenagers, before they are able to smoke, are they see them as cool. Kind of the same way that we all thought that cigarettes were cool. So like in like middle school and high school, like we
Yeah,
all
but
tried.
is that the company's fault or is that the people who are selling it? I mean,
And it's a little bit of both because here's what Vupu did.
okay.
Vupu decided to sponsor a video, and the guy in the video, he has a very popular. He has like 4 million or so YouTube subscribers, and he runs a pranks channel. Now, if anybody knows about, if any of your kids are on YouTube, the kids love these prank videos. Fucking love them. They said about 70 to 80% of his viewers are children. So Vupu decided to sponsor a video with him, and he did a video where he is going to prank his brother who does vape. She said, "Put your microphone towards your mouth. Can't hear you. I hear you just fine. I don't know how they hear you."
Sorry, I do that when I'm vaping.
Yeah. So he has like 70 to 80% of 4 million subscribers are children, and his brother vapes. So that, and him and his brother kind of do the pranks and stuff like that. So they decided to, say, hey, your brother vapes, like, why don't you do a video? And so they paid him to do a video. Now it's him, it's not the brother that does a thing for it. And it's very clear from the very beginning, he knows absolutely nothing about vapes. And one of the first thing that he does is says that he's going to prank his brother, and he puts helium into the vape and tries to vape it. So first of all, you're going to give somebody money that's going to advertise to children when we're trying to keep our stuff not as tightly regulated, because the government seems to be cracking down on jewel pods, and then you give it to someone that knows absolutely nothing about what he's doing, and the first thing that he fucking does is put helium in it. Like, really? Fucking Vupu? Like, are you fucking serious? Like, this is what
That's kind of like the whole thing that we're like, these companies also don't know anything about YouTube, and like Disney will like, hey, this PewDiePie guy, he's like famous, let's give him a thing to like be on our channel, and then they figure out, hey, these YouTubers are degenerates.
Exactly. And it's like, yo, like, not only are you putting this directly in the hands of someone that appeals to children, but you also are putting it in the hands of someone that absolutely doesn't know what he's doing. And then on top of that, then his whole goal is to do something with it that he's not really supposed to do. And you thought this was okay. Like, shouldn't you have, like, if you are a vape company, now the vape company is out of China, like is a company based in China. So the idea that like they didn't have at the very least refusal for that video once they saw what the video was, be like, yo, bro, don't put that shit out. Like, we can't have you using our product like that. And like, they didn't even do that. It puts all of vaping in a really bad spot, because like my daughter loves these fucking prank videos, so I've experienced it personally. She follows all these people that do these prank videos and shit like that, and it's fucking hilarious to her. I don't get it. Like, I just don't. And like, a lot of this shit is scripted. Like, you can clearly tell it's scripted, but these kids don't fucking know that. He has 4 million subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
And so that, like, you just open this shit up to 4 million people, a lot of which maybe don't know very much about vaping at all. And you just open this shit up to them, and you got somebody who doesn't know what he's doing, and he's doing it wrong and appealing to children. So like, a lot of YouTubers are very upset, and they're just like, I started to feel bad after the whole thing with the other YouTuber, and I want, and everyone likes to drag 2Kid, but like, I can't really abide by this. I can't really put this on my channel. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't in good conscience do this, support this company that would do something this stupid.
Right.
It's like, it's like continuing, it's like, it would have been worse. It would have been worse if they would have gave it to somebody that just does Fortnite videos. You know what I mean? Like, or Minecraft videos. And it's just like you gave this shit to someone that appeals to children, and this is bad. This is very bad. And it, like I said,
Where
like
at least the vape community is being like, hey, this is stupid, rather than like being like, oh, just because you're talking bad about this means that you're against vaping or something. So it shows that most of the vape community are not about this stupid shit.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot, and like, here's the thing, the biggest problem is that Vupu does pay the vape reviewers and stuff like that, a little bit. I know one person said that he had problems with them in like getting payments on time and like getting the products on time, and like, the feedback from Vupu has not been very good. So he was like, I was already on the fence about continuing to accept this in general, but like, he was just kind of like, this was just the final straw. And like, we have to stand up to this, because if we don't, like, this puts all of us and what we do in jeopardy. Like, even what was that?
Vape Nation.
That's an N?
Yeah.
That you look like you put up the VA. That's the Virginia 2 up 2 down. VA.
Oh.
You got to kind of crook your finger a little bit or something to kind of make it look like an N instead of an A.
I don't really follow this channel, but that's the one video I have seen from them. But I know they're really popular, called like H3 something Productions or something. Well, they have one video that's like he's pretending to be someone who don't know anything about vape, and he's like acts like he's like someone who knows things about vape, and he's tries. It's called Vape Nation, and it's pretty funny.
Okay. Yeah, it's just like this is going to cause problems in the long run, and we have to try to head these problems off now, or this is going to become a problem for all of us that vape. I mean, even Juul has considered to stop selling their fruity flavors, and like they're just like, we can't, like, we can't sell the fruity flavors because they're trying to say that this shit appeals to the children. And it's just like, shit, most of the stuff that I like are the fruity flavors. Fruit and menthol
Aiden
are my
says
favorite.
he loves me. Yes, Aiden loves me.
He's supposed to.
But yeah, like that does suck. What are they going to do now? Like, what are some adult flavors? Like, is all the vape going to taste like hot sauce and collard greens?
Fucking tobacco and fucking sadness.
It's going to taste like tax collectors.
This shit going to taste like work. And like, somebody's gonna figure out what work tastes like, and like this is our new work flavor.
It's gonna taste like how a copier machine smells.
This shit tastes like 9 to 5.
But anyway, like, if you're like in with the vape crowd or whatever, like, you go into there with a Juul, it's not like stuff like that is like really.
You know what, for real, one of the vape stores that I go to,
Mm-hmm.
I had a guy try to sell me on a Juul. Like, for real, I had a guy like really try to sell me on a Juul. Now I have I think it's called, I think I have an Emikin EQ pod. I like it. I don't love it. But like, I was going looking for pods, and the guy tried to sell me on a Juul, and I was like, no, bro, that's not how we gonna go. Like, I need to be able to fill this thing up myself. Like, I don't just want to get rid of no, I want to change this pod once it's gone, and that's it. And I bought some for my pod system, I bought some Salt Nick from Dollar E Juice. I
Salt
tried to,
Nick.
yeah. You use the Salt Nick has a higher nicotine, um, has higher nicotine. It uses nicotine salts, which is basically comes directly from the nicotine, the plant that the nicotine comes from. You typically put the salt in the pods, salt Nick juice into pods because you're not, like if I put this in here, that would be catastrophic.
Right.
Because you want to know how much nicotine I have in most of the juice that I use?
3.
6. I typically go as 6. This is a 6.
Uh-huh.
This is a 35.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if I take the y'all can see on the show, I'm a chain vapor. I would kill myself with this. If I put this in that and I chain vape this, most of it you can get like 35s. And I also have, when I bought the EQ pod, I bought some Salt Nick juice that's a 50. So I have some Salt Nick juice that's a 50, and I would absolutely kill myself if I put it in a regular device, a regular sub-ohm device.
Yep.
So,
well, what if they made a flavor that says it tastes like roses, but it really tastes like poo-poo?
I did have a juice that I got from Avail that tasted like apples and like floral. It has some sort of like a floral taste. It kind of tasted like flowers. It was terrible. Like the apples were cool, but the floral thing was just like, why would anybody make this into a vape juice? It was in their clearance pile, and I understand why it was in the clearance pile. But I bought some stuff on clearance and I tried it, and most of it was pretty good. But that stuff was like, bruh, I just need to go ahead and vape this shit and get it over with because I really don't want to vape flowers.
Right.
So yeah, that happened. So all right. So I think that's all I have to say about that. Like just if you're a part of the community, just be aware that this shit is happening around you, and they're coming for your stuff. You already have to do like all these kind of like when I
how the thing has all this writing at the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. And we in like all of the vape places, they at the beginning of all the vape YouTubers, at the beginning of the videos, they have to have that same kind of disclaimer at the beginning of all of their videos. They all have them. All of the ones that I've seen, they all have the whole vaping is for if you're smoking age, 18 or over here, blah blah blah, whatever. Like they all have that before the video even starts. That pops up first.
Amber said they make a lavender and chamomile juice. That sounds like it would taste like a record store.
Yeah, see, here's the problem with some of these vape juices. There's some that sound great until you realize, like, I don't want to heat this up and inhale it. There's the company Avail. They when I bought this Baby Beast tank, they got me they had a new flavor called Red Rubies, and Red Rubies tastes just like fruit punch. It tastes just like a fruit punch, like a Hawaiian punch. Like it tastes like a really good fruit punch. But it's not until you get it home and you start using it that you realize that I don't really like hot fruit punch. Yeah. Like when you're just trying it out, you're just remarking.
Maybe you should have fruit punch with menthol so it cools it down.
Yeah, but it's like you don't really want hot fruit punch. Like, and it's like certain things that sounds like it tastes great, but like then you realize that like, yeah, even when you test it, I tested the Red Rubies, and I was just remarking of how much it tasted like regular old fruit punch. But it wasn't until I got it home that I realized that I don't really love hot fruit punch. Like, so like it's one of those things to where it's like there's vape juices for like everything. I'm seeing all kinds of stuff. Like even like a lot of candy flavors. Like it's just like cool. It tastes like the candy, but like, do you really want hot ass candy?
That's why I kind of like the dessert ones, because desserts are normally a hot food. So,
Exactly. So it all kind of works out when it comes to that. So Yeah, so it's a bunch of stuff out there, but if you vape, or even if you thought about vaping or you want to get off smoking and stuff like that, just be aware that this stuff is all around you, and they're going to try to make it harder for you to get to do something it's not 100% safe, but it is a lot safer than cigarettes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's it for us. I think we've done enough. You think we've done enough?
We might. There might be some other things that we can do.
What else can we do?
We could like have a podcast of us texting each other.
I'm thinking no.
You're thinking no?
I'm thinking no. Yeah, I'm thinking no. And we talked almost 3 hours.
Yeah, on the live is 2 hours and 25 minutes we've been live.
Yeah, so I think we've done enough. Like, this has been our longest show in quite some time. Because typically when I do shows at night, I'm just like, yo, I just want to get this over with. I want to try to be as close to an hour as possible. But like, because it's in the middle of the day and I ain't got really nothing else better to do right now, fuck it. So, yeah, so y'all got, like, for real. Like, whether it's Amber in the chat, the person who signed in on subscribed on Mixer, and just everything. Like, do you know what? If you lasted this long, we appreciate you for real. And everybody who's gonna listen to this later, like, we definitely appreciate you for your continued support of Scarcasm. I really need to really get working on this Patreon. Like, I'm gonna do the Patreon thing, and we're gonna try to get more things popping for y'all very soon. It's just like,
yeah, and then all of a sudden we'll be able to quit work, start podcasting.
No, I don't think the Patreon is going to be that big. Now I like, for real. Like, I get to the point to whereas I feel like I want to retire from this podcasting thing, and I really kind of feel that right now. But like, this thing just got rolling, like really rolling, so I can't really walk away from this right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Amber subscribed on YouTube. So.
Fuck yeah, man. Like, we appreciate you. We appreciate all of those. And like, for I'm gonna do a giveaway on the painting videos. Once I hit 50. I'm gonna kind of do the milestones. Like, once I hit 50, I'll do a giveaway. When I hit 100, and then once I hit, like, I don't know what I'm going to do the in-betweens between 100 and 500. I might do that, but I'm going to start doing giveaways. Last time I looked, I had 27. Which really kind of pissed me off with those YouTube videos, because some of the people that I like watching started taking some of my ideas, and I'm like, look, you got hundreds of thousands of followers. Why the fuck do you need to take from me? I have 27. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have 27 subscribers, and you taking shit from me. Why would you feel the need to do that? So that did happen. I was not pleased. People started taking ideas from me.
It's because you got good ideas.
I'm guessing. I didn't think I did. Like, I was just trying to do me, but I was trying to do something different that made it a little bit more personal to me and how I do things. But apparently people like that, so they decided to do it too.
Trendsetter.
I guess so. And then, like, and still, like, I don't have at least one video with 100 views yet. My most viewed video has 89. So I'm getting there. But like, if another thing I'm gonna put out for the people who watch the painting stuff, if you have any suggestions on like color schemes and stuff like that, and stuff that you want me to try, holla at your boy. Because
Scarcasm colors.
Yeah. Maybe. You know what? I do the Scarcasm colors. There's somebody that I follow on Instagram that has like a dark teal,
mm-hmm.
and I really need to figure out how the fuck to do that, because I really like that color.
Nice.
Yeah. So for the homie Chase, I'm Scarfinger. This is Scarcasm. We appreciate you greatly, and we're out of here. Peace out to the Warriors, yo.
Peace them out.
I